pause and meditate. Okay, so if everybody could uncross their legs and uncross their ankles for me. And if you could take a really deep breath and put your hands gently on your thighs like that. Okay, and now what I'd like you to do is gently close your eyes. Okay, some people are opening their eyes looking at other people to see if their eyes are closed. So for those people, if they can close their eyes as well. Take a very, very deep breath. Hold at the top and breathe out. And hold at the top and breathe out. keep your eyes closed for me, and what I'll do is be taking you through just the seating position, some noises that we hear, and then I'll be going down 5 steps onto some soft grass. Okay, where you're going to sit down and then you're going to lie on the grass for a moment or two. So if you just feel gravity pushing onto your legs and onto your feet, if you can feel gravity pushing your hands down to your thighs, and you're starting to relax more, take another deep breath at the top. As you breathe out, you're going to say to yourself, relax. And breathe out, relax. Feeling the relaxation going through your feet, through your legs, through your hips. You can feel gravity pushing your buttocks onto the seat. And relax that. Relax through your stomach. And relax through your chest and your shoulders. And relax through your jaw. And just relax your mouth so your jaw is open slightly. Relax the little muscles around your eyes. And I'd like you to imagine you're at the top of 5 steps. As you go down, you're going to become more and more relaxed. The top of the 5 steps. 5, 4, all relaxed. Listening to the noises around, the birds outside. You can hear the fan of the projector. 3, 5 times more relaxed now. 2, and 1, stepping down onto the grass. It's soft underfoot. And if you sit down and lie down on that grass, in the background you'll hear some birds chirping, some bird noises. The temperature is fine. This is a place to close off the internal dialogue. This is a place that you can easily go. This is a place where you focus on the sounds around you, you focus on gravity, and you focus on your breathing. And your internal thoughts are focusing on this moment. And while you're in this moment, I'm just going to play a song. It's going to be nice and quiet. And feel free to tap your foot as I play. I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so peaceful about that place. Even my emotions were an echo in that space. And when you're out there, I was out there, I was out of touch. It wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Yeah. Does that make me crazy? Yeah. Possibly. Now who are you? Who are you? Who do you think you are? Ha ha ha. Bless your soul. Do you think you're in control? I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy, yeah. I think you're crazy, yeah. Just like me. Now I'd like you to look at those steps, and I'd like you to put your foot on step number 5, coming up to 4. To 3. And at the top of the steps, you'll find yourself, and your eyes will be open, and you'll be totally awake. Coming up to 3, 2, and 1. Open your eyes for me. Give yourselves a round of applause, by the way. Thank you for your participation. Okay, so what I'll be talking about here is I'll be talking about authenticity, I'll be talking about perceptions. How do we create positive perceptions with other human beings? How do we create negative perceptions with other human beings, because there's a lot of really cool research on it, and we're going to be going through it. Also, we're going to be talking about the perception that we create of ourselves. How do we create this perception of who we think we are? And what about the perception that we create of others? If you have a negative perception of somebody, how do you think they behave towards you? So some of you will be sitting there thinking, gee, I'm looking forward to today. This is going to be interesting. Some of you are a bit confused. Now, what is this show about? Some of you are going to be thinking about whether or not I'm authentic or inauthentic. Is he the real deal? Well, I want you to know that I've done a lot of personal development. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on myself and tens of thousands of hours. And when it comes to authenticity, I say and do things to make myself look better in the eyes of others, and I always will. To a less or more degree. And the closest to authenticity that I can get is to be authentic about the fact that at times I am inauthentic. So if you're trying to work out if I'm full of it, I am. Okay? I say and do things to make myself look better in the eyes of others. And guess what? It's a human condition. We all do it. But knowing that is important. So what are you actually creating for 2021? And how much time do we spend investing in what's important to you? We live our lives, we go to work, we do all these things, we read the odd personal development book. But now today, we're going to be spending a bit of time working on the most important thing that you have, and that's you. So what are you creating for 2021, and what is your idea of success? Your idea of success might be mental health. It might be relationships. It might be school. It might be being happy. The way you adapt and evolve equals that. And we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about your competitive edge in your life, which is you. And we're going to be talking about investing in your most valuable asset, which is you. So I started off at Ross Trevor College, not very good at school, so Mum sat me down and said, what do you want to do, where do you want to be? I said, the man from Snowy River. So it was about a horseman that rides down a very steep hill, rounds up a whole lot of horses, brings them into the cattle station and ultimately saves the day. And at 17, I wanted to be the man from Snowy River. One of the things is that visualisation is a fantastic thing. In America, when Superman was around, kids were jumping off the shed and breaking their arm. Jumping off the houses and breaking their arms. And little girls wanted to be Wonder Woman as well. The ability to visualise is fantastic. The ability to visualise is a real asset. Did someone just knock on the door? Yes. I'll just quickly. Can you give these guys a round of applause? Yeah. Congratulations on being late.
Better late than never, that's a motto.
So we spoke briefly about authenticity, and the closest to being authentic that I can be is to be authentic about the fact that I am at times inauthentic. And we talked about basically that we sometimes say and do things to make ourselves look better in the eyes of others. So start off at Ross Trevor College. Visualisation, ladies. We're talking about visualisation, the ability to be able to visualise and project yourself into something. For this show to be enjoyable, I need your participation. Can everybody put up their hand for me? Everybody put up their hand and say, I am going to fully participate. I need louder than that. Ready, set, go. I'm going to fully participate. Great, that's what I want you to do. The ability to visualise. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to close your eyes again, and I'd like you to imagine that you are on a horse. Okay, so I want you to sit down on your horse, feel it, close your eyes for me. I want you to hold the reins of the horse. Let's have a look. Is everybody holding those reins? You can't hold the reins when you're like that. Holding the reins, yes. Holding the reins. You can feel the stirrups in your feet. Okay, you can feel the stirrups in your feet. And what I'd like you to do is close your eyes, everybody close your eyes, and just move a little bit as though you're walking on that horse, slowly walking on the horse. Is everybody moving? Close your eyes, come on, hold on to the reins, that's it. Everybody holding it, excellent. Holding on to the reins. Now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to turn to the person next to you, give them a wink and go, like that. Now go, yeah! And right, flat out. Go, right, flat out. I want to see people riding and I want to hear, yeah! Go louder, you said you participate. Go, yeah! That's it. Give yourselves a round of applause. The ability to participate, the ability to visualise is a skill set. Is a great skill set. And you know, stepping out of one's comfort zone is a beautiful thing to do. But often we don't want to. Because really, we're cave people, aren't we? We're cave people. We grew up in caves. It's only recently that we've been out of there. And if you go too far away from your cave, you can be bonked on the head. Or you can be bitten by a saber-toothed tiger. Staying in comfort zones is what we're tuned in to do. And today, what I'd like you to do is step out of your comfort zone. When you step out of your comfort zone, it's going to be uncomfortable, and you've got two choices. You can go back, or you can stay here. When you stay here, and you start feeling uncomfortable, and when you start feeling comfortable, then you can step out again, out of that comfort zone again. And when the uncomfortable starts to feel more comfortable, you can step out again, and you can step out again. And you'll look back and see the adventure that you've had and the person that you've become. It's an exciting adventure to have. So yes, there's a picture of me as a little boy. I wanted to be a cowboy. There's a picture of me when I was a jackaroo. It was actually the Northern Territory that I went to. Now, I went from there to being a jackaroo, came back and studied accountancy, didn't like it, so I tripped and fell into Kirby vacuum cleaners, selling vacuum cleaners door to door. And we had to sing a song about a vacuum cleaner. It was called Pretty Shiny Kirby. And it felt really uncomfortable singing this song about this vacuum cleaner. It felt really, really uncomfortable. But after a while, I started belting it out. The Pretty Shiny Kirby. Now, it's got to do with comfort zones, so what I'd like you to do is participate for me, and I'd like you to hold your hands like this for me, okay? And follow my rhythm. Like this, everyone together. Yep, you're not actually doing it. Can you help? You did say that you'd participate? Okay. Okay, and on the count of three, we're going to sing along all together. I want a nice voice. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Pretty shiny Kirby, I'm in love with you. Pretty shiny Kirby, how I love you true. Listen to it hum and watch what it can do. Pretty shiny Kirby, I'm in love with you. I'm going to sing this song about this vacuum cleaner. Now people think sometimes I'm joking. I'm not joking. We're actually saying this song about the vacuum cleaner. So from Kirby Vacuum Cleaners, I went into sales, became state sales manager of a company, and I wasn't very good at it. In fact, I was really bad at it. I was the type of person that always had a better story. I also wasn't a very good listener. Gave a lot of advice. Wasn't really paying attention to what people were saying because I was trying to solve their problem. So I ended up studying behavioural science and pulled myself out of sales. And then came back to sales in the advertising industry and wrote a lot of dollars in the advertising industry and started a training business when I was 29 years old. In that training business, I focused on listening skills, I focused on psychology, and I was lucky enough to set up a professional speaking career in 2012, and I've flown around Australia, and I've also flown overseas, and I've won a couple of awards overseas. I won an award at a leadership conference in Iran. And I'm not saying this to impress you, I'm saying this to impress upon you that I have a lot of material here, and I'm here to give you the best I've got. The best material I've got, and I'm going to do it in a fun way. And getting out of your comfort zone like that is fun, but it's really important to do. So I won a couple of awards overseas for the best speaker, and I'm here to give you the best material that I've got. The best material I've got. So the way we take on board new information is learned responses. We learned the way we communicate from our parents, and they learned their ways of communicating from their parents. And some of the things we picked up along the way are good, but it's important to recognise what they are so we can hold on to them. Some of the things we picked up along the way are bad, and it's important to recognise those so we can throw them away. But everybody can improve the way they communicate. Everyone can. Most of us, when it comes to the way we communicate with ourselves and others, are like a cork in the ocean. We're blown in the direction of the prevailing winds and currents. We don't have any real control of where we're going. We don't choose to progress or regress. We don't know where we're going. So what we're going to talk about is how to be more of an author in your fate rather than a passive participator in it. So everybody can improve the way they communicate. Change is a constant. We know that hills rise and sink. We refer to the eternal stars, but they're in flux. They have their beginnings and they have their ends. Change is a constant. You are going to change the way you communicate with yourself because you listen to yourself more than anybody else, and it's not important what I'm saying at the moment. It's more important about what you're saying to yourself about what I'm saying. So the way in which we communicate with ourselves, the way that we communicate with others, has a massive impact on the thing that's most important to you, which is your happiness, your well-being. And we're going to talk about that, and we're going to put a fun spin on it. Is that okay? Yeah? Good. Okay, so getting out of your comfort zone is fun. So what I'd like you to do is turn to the person next to you, and with a big Joker type smile, just smile at them, just like this. Yeah, a big Joker type smile. And then I'd like you to go, like that. Like that. Because, you know, when it comes to challenging your perceptions, it can be a bit serious. I want to throw that serious stuff out the window. And I want to have some fun with it. I mean, you're not going to be beaten by a saber-toothed tiger, I can guarantee you. You're not going to be bonked on the head, okay? All we're going to do is just challenge perceptions and challenge the way we communicate with each other. And we want to have some fun with that. Why not? Takes courage. Takes courage to challenge perceptions. The perception of who we think we are, the perception of who we think others are, the way we relate. So having the courage to progress, and we have resistance. And I'd like to talk about this resistance. Some people say I've heard it all before. Some of the most unhappiest people that I've ever met have heard it all before. Their cup's already full. And you can't fill it with anything. And they're stagnant. So I've heard it all before. Some people say, oh, that won't work for me. That doesn't relate to me. I know who I am. I know my perception. And you don't even inquire into it. So some people don't even want to take a little slice out of this and just try it out to see if they like it, to take off the jacket and put it on for a bit. So the Milky Way galaxy is a very big galaxy, and I want to have perspective here. Perspective. There's 200 billion stars in this galaxy. That's a lot of stars. Can you please stand up for a sec, please? Thank you. And just turn around and go like this for me. And I want you just to go like this. Every time you do that, it's a star, okay? But I want you to do as fast as you can, okay? You ready? Okay, so there's 200 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy. And if you want to go really, really fast, can you go faster? Alright, so really fast, it would take you 2,000 years to hit 200 billion. Probably actually 3,000, because you slowed down. Give this lady a round of applause, please. Perspective. Perspective, thank you. Perspective. I mean, really? You know, let's have a look at perspective. In 1977, Voyager 1 was spat through a wafer-thin atmosphere, screaming through space. It's one of the fastest things we've ever made, at 70,000 kilometres per hour. It's out of our solar system now. How long is it going to take to get another star, to reach another star? 80,000 years. 80,000 years. When we're talking about stars, we're talking about our star being this big, if you can imagine a marble, and then throwing it on an AFL oval. Because we know of stars that are the size of AFL ovals. And our star is this. Perspective. Have perspective about challenging perceptions of who we think we are and others. You know, we have a perception of who we think we are, and that's okay. But as I said, if you step out of your comfort zone, and you sometimes need to do this purposely, if you want to have a happy, fulfilled life, is you step out of it, and the uncomfortable If you stay here, we'll feel more comfortable, and then you can step out again. And you'll find so much more space in your life, and so much more freedom in your life. Freedom you otherwise didn't think that you had. So the great Maulana, when I spoke in Iran, I studied some of the philosophers of the region. He was born in 1400 AD. And he said some amazing things. And when I read his material, I thought, wow, some of it I didn't quite get for a month. I'd write it out because I like the sound of it. But I think, oh, but this one is just a real beauty. And it says, see your cleverness with bewilderment. Because the stakes don't get any higher. The way you communicate with yourself is mental illness. You know, COVID-19 is affecting us in a major, major way. The suicide rates and all this kind of stuff. But if you look at the stakes don't get any higher, what causes stress? The conversation that we have with ourselves. The internal chatter. That's stress. Does stress kill? Yes! It does. It does. Does it cause people to be sick? Yes, it does. What about the way you relate to others? Does that affect happiness? We're talking about divorce rates. We're talking about a whole heap of different things. Yes, it does. Okay, so when we're born, we have a blank canvas, and you know what's on the blank canvas? Have a guess what's on it?
Blankness? Nothing.
Nothing. That's why it's blank. It's blank. And then it starts to fill up with stuff. Not good enough. I'm the way I am because of this. I need to protect myself. I can't be vulnerable. I have to stay in control. All these things start happening on the blank canvas. Projecting perceptions. How do we project perceptions? If you're shy, how do you think you project a perception? You project it through your body language. 55% of communication is through body language, 38% tone, and only 7% is words. So having a look at that is astronomical. When I was at a conference, a man came up to me and said, oh, I'm really shy. And I said, well, I don't think you are. He goes, oh, no, I am. I'm really shy. And I said, well, I don't think you are. Why do you think you're shy? And he went, oh, when I was 10 years old, I was at school and it was a science class, and the teacher asked this question. I put up my hand as high as I could. And I stood up and I blurted out the answer, and I thought it was right, and everyone laughed at me. And I said to myself then, I'm never, ever, ever going to put up my hand again. So what happened to that person? That person then started to behave shy, and people would say, oh, you're really shy. And he'd go, yeah, I am. And he starts gathering evidence that that's who he is. And we carry evidence bags. But the perception of who we think we are is projected in body language. Now, a word in isolation doesn't mean much. If I said was to you, what would you say? Was. Was what? It doesn't mean anything. But if I said I was going to stay at the gym and I decided to go out, instead, that's a sentence. See, body language is the same. A gesture in isolation doesn't mean much, but when you put a gesture with another gesture, and another gesture, and another gesture, you form what's called a non-verbal sentence. Let me give you a bit of a demonstration of body language. Okay, I'd like to do a bit of a demo here. So what I'd like you to do is grab you three ladies and come up here, and you two, come up here. Yep, three ladies and you two, come up here. I'd like you to stand behind this table. Yep, round here. There. I'd like you to have a pen. So we've only really got 10 seconds to do this, but what I'd like you to do is I just want you to draw an object of something, and you've only got 10 seconds. Pull it off. Ready, set. Yep, ready, set, go. Just draw something that you'd like to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it. And if you can hand them over here, please. Hand the sheets of paper over here, and you can just grab the sheets of paper. I'd like you to shuffle them for me, please. Just shuffle them. Shuffle them for me. Shuffle them. You've shuffled them, yeah? Okay, let's have a look at this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to ask you a question if you drew this, okay? If you drew it, okay? Now, you are going to answer the question by saying, I'll get this out so it's not bright in your eyes there. Come over here. So before we get just around here. Okay, so when I ask you the question, I want you to say, no, I didn't draw it. And I want you to explain to me why you didn't draw it if I ask you some questions. Can you do that for me? Is that okay? So let's have a look here. Why are you turning your head to coughing? Really? You're making eye contact as well. Do you like trees? Do you? You know how I know that? Because, did you draw this? I know you. Can you sit down for me, please? Sit down for me. Around here. That's it. Okay, let's have a look here. Now, did you draw this? Did you draw this? Did you draw this? You're looking at me. You've got a very stern look on your face. Did you draw this? Yes. You're supposed to say no. Sit down for me. But she looked as though she drew it. She looked as though she drew it, that's for sure. Okay, let's have a look here. There's this one here. Let's have a look at the body language here. Okay. Did you draw this? I believe him because he said no and his body language matched what he was doing. He went no like this and shook his head and it matched perfectly. Now you're losing eye contact with me. You've major lack of eye contact. When people lie, they lose eye contact and they often touch their face as well because microscopic twitches occur on the face. Did you draw this? Are you going to say no? Did you draw it? See, their head shaking now is going advanced. So she's saying no, but her head is shaking after she said no. Can you sit down for me, please? Okay, let's have a look here. Let's have a look here. Okay. Now, did you draw this? No. Did you draw this? You know you haven't got any eye contact with me at all. You haven't even looked at me. In the last second, you just looked at me. Okay? I'm gonna have a look here. Did you draw this? No. Your body language is different to what it was before. Did you know that? Did you draw this? No. Did you draw this? Actually, are you going to have to sit down? Yes, I know that you definitely drew that. Can you please sit down? Your body language is and you were hard to read. Ladies and gentlemen, body language is gestures and gesture clusters. So the hand comes to the face, but in an attempt to block the deceitful behaviour at the last moment, the hand is pulled away and the nose touch occurs. People touch their face when they lie. They also lose eye contact. 1. 2 is blocking vision, common when someone's lying. Looking down with their left eye is number 3, number 4, and the false cough. The arms folding across the chest. When you fold your arms across your chest, you take on 37% less information, but also people perceive that you're defensive even if you're not. But the arms folding gesture rarely comes like this. It normally comes with the arms folded and some sort of ankle cross. And the chin slightly down as well. The thing is, the point that I want to make here, the point that I'm making is your perception of who you think you are is demonstrated in your body language. And it's 37% tone, 38% tone, sorry, 7% words, and 55% body language. So if you say to someone, do you agree with that? They go, yeah. That means they disagree with it, if you listen to the tone. Interesting. So there's something called a frill neck lizard. It's only very small. It's a frill neck lizard about this big. But when it frills its neck out, it's huge and it's scary. Can everyone stand up for me, please? Thank you. Now, I'd like to demonstrate a frill neck lizard that human beings do. I'd like you to put your hands on your hips. Hands on your hips like this. This is what people do. And if 2 frill neck lizards meet each other, you know what one of them does? Goes on its tippy toes. Like this, on the tippy toes, like this, and their eyebrows go like that. And they make themselves look bigger. Okay, so, and also what people do is they tend to push their groin out, particularly men. They push their groin out like that. They actually do push their groin out. So what I'd like you to do is turn to the person next to you. Turn to the person next to you, 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 and I'd just like you to go like this, y'all. I'd just like you to go, "You're!" like that. Doubt and uncertainty uncertainty comes in 5 gestures. Doubt and uncertainty. Angela, sit down. Doubt and uncertainty comes in 5 gestures. It's 1, 2, 3 scratches, and a look and a head turn. It's doubt and uncertainty. Now remember, with body language though, the words will often completely contradict it. Oh, I agree with that. That's really interesting. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, right. Okay, so body language and words. So the sentence, the verbal sentence is not reliable. It's a non-verbal sentence that is reliable. If they don't match, what do you believe? You believe the body language. So how do we create a negative perception? With water pistol responses. They're called roadblocks to communication. Okay, it's in the Sydney University. There are certain things that we do that really don't go down well with other people. It creates a negative perception. Would you like to know what they are? It's pretty interesting. I find it pretty interesting. There's criticising, there's name calling, there's diagnosing why someone's behaving the way they're behaving. You know, the reason why you're behaving the way you're behaving is because, sir, you know, that woman, she broke your heart. And now you're just withdrawn and you don't want to be vulnerable anymore. You know that, don't you?
That's the problem.
People don't like it when you diagnose behaviour, they hate it. That's a really good thing to do if you want to upset someone. Praise being a roadblock. Praise? You come home with flowers and chocolates and see what the wife says. What have you done? What do you want? Have you ever noticed how people protect themselves if they're under a psychological threat when praise is given? If a salesperson comes and he's selling you something at your house and he's giving you lots of compliments, what are you thinking? Yeah, right. Praise can be great when it's sincere and specific, ordering, threatening, loaded questions. We're going to come back to loaded questions. Loaded questions are questions you already know the answer to. Unsolicited advice. When a friend comes to you with a problem in their life, when a friend comes to us with a problem in their life, they're looking for empathy and understanding. This is when we unconsciously try and give them advice by trying to help them. And it's called unsolicited advice, and it's the biggest roadblock to interpersonal communication. Forming an opinion from your own point of view about whether or not you agree or disagree with what someone's saying is the best way of distancing yourself from them. So unsolicited advice is the major roadblock to communication. It's a water pistol response. It's like pulling out a water pistol and the other person's talking and just loading it up and squirting them down. Having a better story. It might take a few wines or a few beers, but who's often had a better story? Oh, that's nothing. When I went to Bali, yeah, having a better story. Some people do that a lot. And guess what? You don't like them. You're talking about something and they're not really getting what you're saying. They're thinking about what they want to say next. We all do that though. We all think about what we're going to say next. So logical argument. You know, if you hadn't bought that car, you'd be able to go to the snow with your mates. You'd be able to go to the snow with your mates if you hadn't bought that car. But you know what? He loves that car. It's a convertible. And you put up the music and you take the roof down and boom, 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 boom. So you love that car, don't you? That's how you met, isn't it? You know, focusing on logic takes emotion out of the picture. People don't like that. Reassurance and telling people they're setting roadblocks. So these are dangerous, but they're water pistol responses. So if you can stand up for me, please. They're water pistol responses. So what I'd like you to do is imagine that you've got a water pistol right now. Can you hold on to it for me? Yeah, hold on to it. It's quite heavy. It's got a lot of volume in it. It's got litres and litres. And what I'd like you to do with the water pistol, you do have to pump it up. So I want you to pump it up. I want you to be really fast. Ready, set, go. Just pump fast. Yes, keep going. There's a gentleman over there that's actually got the wrong rhythm. He's going that way. Can you poke your tongue out when you do it? Poke your tongue out when you do it. Now turn to the person next to you and just say, "That's nothing. When I went to Bali, 1, 2, 3, go." Now I want you to say, "Oh, you should have gone to ABC Winery. 1, 2, your responses, and they're really dangerous. They're really dangerous. Who's seen Lost in Space? Anybody seen Lost in Space? It's about a spaceship, and it goes out from Earth, and guess what? Yeah, well, of course it gets lost in space. I want you to stand up for me, please. You know, there's a really cool robot, and it can sense danger. It can sense danger. So what it does is it goes like this with its arms. It says danger, 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 and then it spins around. But when you do the danger, you've got to look at the other person and look at them and really mean it and go danger, danger, danger. Okay? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Danger! To understand and have some fun. How do we create a positive perception with people? Well, the first thing we've got to do is look like a listener, obviously, because we communicate mainly through body language. If you're folding your arms and you haven't got eye contact, people aren't going to open up to you. That's it, fine. So what's the opposite of that? It's actually having the body language slightly forward in anticipation of what they're about to say. So uncrossing the legs and just leaning forward a bit. Yep. Participation is important in this. Yep, so lean forward a bit. Yep, lean forward a bit. Now, I'd like you to have open palm gestures, so your open body language is important. You know, in medieval times, it indicated that you didn't have a weapon. Mary, Mother of God, okay? I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Open palms are associated with truth, honesty, and allegiance in our culture. So having some open palms is important. So I'd like you to turn the head to one side so the ear is facing the person talking. Now squint the eyes like this. Okay, actually, you look a bit constipated. So I am over-exaggerating a bit. I am over-exaggerating a bit, okay? But having attending skills is important. You need to look like a listener. Look as though you're paying careful attention to what they're saying, and they will get more involved in the conversation. When they get more involved in the conversation, guess who becomes more involved in the conversation too? Yeah. So analyse your own body language. This is the best material that I've got. I've got 20 hours material. I'm just giving you the best stuff I've got. Following skills is getting the conducting stick and saying, here's the conducting stick, Susan. You take that, put it in your hand. You guide your own conversation. You take your conversation where you want to go. And what they're taught on Lifeline is to do this. They're taught to be quiet. Because when you are quiet, the person has time to think about what they want to talk about next. It's called attentive silence. So you're attending, you look like a listener, but you're silent. So when they're finished talking, there's a couple of seconds, just be silent. And they'll go, oh yeah, and also, and they'll continue on. There's also things like, yep, really, wow, or the nodding of the head. They're called minimal encouragers. They're following skills. Another one that psychologists use is repeating the last word of your sentence. Now let's say we haven't caught up for a while. I was talking about my trip, you know, and the word is wineries. After I say the word wineries, I want everybody to go, wineries! Okay? So yeah, went down south. Thanks for asking. Ended up going to the wineries. Yeah, it was great. The kids stayed at the parents' place. I was able to really relax. It was relaxing because I was open fire and river going past. If I said, which wineries did you go to? I'd be guiding the conversation with a question. It's not effective, but if you repeat the last word of someone's sentence, you're prompting them to talk about what they want to talk about. So all you do is look like a listener and be really quiet and go, yeah, really.
That sounds like my husband.
Well, you're very bloody lucky. This is like a third of listening. 2/3 of listening lies in the way that we respond. If someone gives you an important telephone number over the telephone, we tend to repeat it back. Why do we do that? Why do we, if it's an important telephone number, why do we repeat it back? It's a check on accuracy. High five. It's a check on accuracy, isn't it? Let's give this little girl a round of applause. It's also a courtesy to you to give you an indication I have. Exactly. And it's called a paraphrase. It's a type of reflective response. There are 4 major reflective responses. There's paraphrasing, reflection of feeling, summative reflection, and reflection of meaning. We're going to step on the most powerful one. The most powerful reflective response. So after someone's finished talking, it's like a mirror reflecting an image. And you reflect that image back to them and say, well, it sounds like you're blah, 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 and you repeat back what they've said. And if you get it right, they'll do this. Yeah. And they'll be sometimes surprised. Why?
Because they didn't know what.
Because you got it. You caught it. You caught it. But they will respond like this. And that's right. And also what we did is this and this and this. You know, and they might expand some more. And you know, it's the gift of understanding. Reflective listening is the gift of understanding. You can do it to your own internal dialogue, and I'll talk about that, reflecting back to what you're saying to yourself. It's extremely powerful, but we're talking about reflecting back on what other people are saying, and it's the gift of getting them. The gift of understanding them. And it's a true gift. And it's the ability to reflect back like a mirror. And there's reflection of feeling. Yeah, I went down south, ended up going to the wineries. Yeah, it was great. The kids stayed at the parents' place and I was able to really relax. It was relaxing because there was, now, if you really want to piss someone off, repeat the last word of the sentence often, mate. If you really want to get under their goat. Yeah, they'll think you're being patronising or something, you know. So, one, you can listen for feeling-type words. You heard the word relaxing, right? We went down south and we had a relaxing time. So all you do is pick out a feeling word or imagine what you'd be feeling like if you're in their position. And all you need to do is just say to them, wow, it sounds like you had a really relaxing time when you went down south. And that's it. But how do we respond? We don't respond like that. We respond with water pistol responses sometimes. And you know, when a friend becomes a good friend, I'm talking about a good friend you connect with, comes to you with a problem in their life, in 90% of the time, we use water pistol responses, unfortunately, because we have to help. We feel like we have to help. Let me give you an example. I've just spoken about my trip down south, and I've talked about it for a while. And then you respond, okay? And I'd like you all to say no to the next question that I ask of you. You're the person now that has spoken about their trip down south, okay? You've just spoken about your trip down south and everything. And I say, oh, when you went down south, did you go to ABC Winery?
No.
Oh, you didn't.
No.
So that's a loaded question. It's a loaded question. Now it's going to turn into unsolicited advice. Well, you'll have to go there. You'll have to go to ABC Winery. They make the best Shiraz.
No.
Actually, you're supposed to say Shiraz. They make the best Shiraz. Yeah, it's a great Shiraz. And me, and I, and better your story, and better your story. And by the time I've realised I've talked too much, it is too late. When someone comes to you and talks to you, all you need to do is just focus on being reflective and you'll create a positive perception. So it's attending following skills and reflective responses. Can everyone stand up for me, please? Do a bit of subconscious programming here because I want you to have a think about this. I want you to go away from here and start talking about it. And that's what happened. I've been to a few different places when I've been here, and people come up to me and they've said, David, I can't believe, this happened to me and that happened to me, and they really get engaged in this. So I want you to talk about this after this event to people. I want you to talk to each other about it and say, look, when I'm talking to you, I don't want you to give me any advice, I just want you to understand what I'm saying. And you can even say to someone, look, in the past I've given you unsolicited advice and I'm committed to actually listening about it. You can even say that. But it's attending like this. Can everyone say attending?
Attending.
Yeah?
Attending.
Yes. And it's hand gesture like this. So attending indicates open body posture. Can everybody say attending? Attending. Yeah, and following skills, the body language gesture is this, following skills. Yeah, and then it's a step forward and it's reflective responses. Because you're reflecting it back to them. Now let's do this 5 times together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Attending, following skills, and reflective responses. And again, it's attending, following skills, and reflective responses. And again, it's attending, following skills, and reflective responses. And again, it's attending, following skills, and reflect. Give yourselves a round of applause. Well done. scanning for open skills and reflective responses. Now, when someone comes to you with a problem in their life, this is a gift that you can give them, and it's a gift of understanding. Who's better to solve their problem anyway? Yes. You know, and problem-solving techniques can be used in this. You can ask clever questions. What are your options? What are your 3 options? And then they will reflect, and then you can reflect back the 3 options and say, okay, so you've said option 1, option 2, and option 3. Which one do you think is the best for you? And they go, well, actually, I could do option 1 and also option 3. And blah, blah, blah. And then they say, well, thanks for that advice. And you haven't given any. So it can go at all sorts of facets of your life. So let's not complicate it, because I've been to training places that complicate things. It's perception. You want to create a positive, negative perception? Use water pistol responses. Don't write someone down. You want to create a positive perception? All you need to do is just mirror back what they're saying. That's it. Now I've got some takeaway pieces of paper that you can stick on the fridge, and it's that simple. You know, you are now psychologists. Well done. You're social workers. Give yourselves a round of applause. You now know. You want to create a negative perception. It's water pistol responses. They're called roadblocks to communication. A positive perception is about mirroring back what they're saying. You know, but one of the things is, who do we listen to the most? The person that we listen to the most is ourselves. It's called internal dialogue or dialogue, or whatever you call Anthony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn. You know, these people call it different things. I call it the monkey. In yoga, it's called the chitta. The chitta in yoga. So it's a conversation that you have with yourself. Okay, and it's important to analyse what you are saying to yourself. So let's have a look at some of these perceptions. We have a perception of who we think we are, based on our take of circumstances from childhood. We gather a perception of who we think we are. And I'm saying, challenge that, but I want you to turn to the person next to you and go like this. Do that. 1, 2, 3, go. And now say, I challenge the perception that I created myself. Nice and loud. I challenge the perception. And you know, I want you to look at the person next to you and go, I challenge the perception. I want you to mean it. I challenge the perception. Absolutely, let's challenge it. Because you know what? It's a blank canvas. But what we have up here is not good enough. Not enough somewhere. Not enough somewhere. You know, some things happened to me as a child. And I didn't know what it was like because I was groomed to it. As I got older, I realised what had happened. And that's when I had my complaint. That's when I felt that I wasn't smart. I wasn't smart enough. And not smart enough, I was stupid and gullible. Stupid and gullible. I made that up. And it'd be okay if a boy made that up. But the boy made it up and held on to it, went to adult, and it went through his adult life. Can't be vulnerable. Another one. You know, vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness, right? Mm-hmm. The people that you like to hang with the most are the people that are vulnerable and authentic. And you feel that you can do that with them as well. It's a strength. I said to myself, I can't be vulnerable. I have to stay in control. It was hard for me to move forward and create the person that I wanted to create when on my future canvas, there was that there. Stupid and gullible, can't be vulnerable, not good enough. Didn't think that I was good enough for my father. Bang, it was up there on the future canvas. But you know what? Is that me? Does that have to dictate who I am in the present and the future? Does it? No. Does that have to rule me? Do I have to be like that? No. You know, do you think I could have gone and won the awards that I won and done this show? No, I couldn't. Oh, this is out of my comfort zone. It is out of my comfort zone. You might think, oh yeah, here. No, really, this is really out of my comfort zone. It's a Fringe show. And it's a weird topic. How many Fringe shows do you reckon are on this stuff? Not many. You know, the great Olana says, know your voice, know your story, recognise you when you're in the way.
Recognise you when you're in the way. Recognise you when you first come around the corner. What perception do you have of yourself, and how are you challenging that? And you can do it in a fun way. You're not going to get bitten by a saber-toothed tiger. You're not going to be bonked over the head. Getting out of your comfort zone, challenging the perceptions that we have of ourselves is a good thing. I want you to turn to the person next to you and go, "Nee," and say, "I challenge the perception I created of myself." Perception of who I am. Exactly. Of course you do. Don't be satisfied with the stories that come before you. Don't be satisfied.
I'm not satisfied.
That's good. I'm going to keep that one. Turn to the person next to you and say, "I'm not satisfied." Don't be satisfied with the stories that come before you. Unfold your own myth. I have, and it's fun. And I love being wrong. I love it. It's good fun. But you know what? Sometimes when people make fun of me, like friends and stuff, they make fun of me, my heart rate changes. And the conversation that I have with myself says, "Oh, I'm being reacted to this. I'm being triggered." They are not triggering me. Who's triggering me? I am triggering me. Why am I triggering me? Because I'm stupid and gullible. And then I can know that and relax and go, "That's okay. I'm not stupid and gullible." And I don't have to be reactive, and I can breathe and smile at myself because it's a stupid monkey. It is. What I'd like you to do is put your hand up to your side like this. Should you get to know this little fella? Okay. Put your hand up to the side like this. I want you to have a look at the monkey like this. Have a look at it. And I want you to say, "Hello, monkey." Hello, monkey. Now what I want you to do is I want you to say, "Stupid monkey!" I'll turn to the person next to you and go, "Stupid monkey!" I can't hear you louder. Stupid monkey! Louder! Stupid monkey! Oh, it's a stupid monkey! Stupid monkey. You know, great story. There's this senior monkeys, really wise, enlightened. He goes on a pilgrimage, and he comes back from this pilgrimage, and he's with a subordinate in his 20s, and he's walking along, and the rain starts, and the path is muddy, and they come across this woman standing on a rock in a silk kimono dress, and she's standing with an umbrella, wanting to cross this little river that's swelled up a bit. The senior monk goes up to her, gently picks her up, walks her across this river, and puts her on the rock, and she shuffles off with the umbrella. 8 hours later, they get close to the monastery. 8 hours later. They're coming close to the monastery, and the subordinate says, "Master, why did you do that? We don't touch women. It's part of our culture not to touch women. You picked this woman up, you walked her across the stream. Why did you do this?" He said, "My son, I put her down 8 hours ago. Are you still carrying her?" We carry perceptions. We do. We carry the perception of who we think we are. And it has big impacts on our happiness, on our well-being. Now, it's a stupid monkey. So I'd like you to look at the person next to you, and I'd like you to eyeball them. Just eyeball them. Look them in the eye. And I want you to put your hand up like this. And I want everyone to participate. And I just want you to go, "Stupid monkey! Is that perception real? Second question is, would you bet your life on it being real? And then you can flush the toilet. I call it the toilet effect. I want you to put your hand nice and high like this. And I want you to whoosh. And turn to the person next to you and go whoosh. Now I want you to say, "Flush it down! Flush it down! Flush it down! Flush it down!" to yourself. It's important to be kind to yourself. It's important to be kind to others. Because the monkey has a perception of other people. And when we perceive someone as a certain way, we talk to our friends about, oh, they're this way, and they're that way, and they're this way. And then we throw that in our evidence bag. And it weighs us back a bit. But when we throw that in our evidence bag, what we unconsciously do is we put on glasses. Now, I can see through these glasses, but when I do gather an ally and go up to someone and say, oh, so-and-so did this, and they're this and that, they go, yeah, they are. Okay, so now I've got sunnies on. Okay, and it's more difficult for me to see that person because I see them through the perception that I've created of them. And when I do that, and I perceive them as being a certain way, they behave the way I perceive them to be. So then I put on another pair of glasses. These ones are prescription. So now I can't see very well at all. Okay? And then I go up to someone and say, oh, they're just so horrible. They're this, they're that. They go, oh yeah, they are. Yeah, so I put on another pair. And then I put on another pair and I think to myself, you know, it's just the way it is. Because I'm really self-aware. I'm very mindful. It's just the way they are. Yeah. But I've got it going on. I'm a star. Yeah, it takes courage to realise that if you don't have love and acceptance of others, you're going to struggle to have it for yourself. The Dalai Lama says it. It's true. It's the best material I've got. You've got to have the courage to just take those glasses off and take them off and take them off and take them off and see people with love and acceptance. And sometimes you've got to have compassion in there too. And we don't change our perception of somebody else to manipulate them to change. Who do we do it for? Yeah. And I am talking about those people, right? You know who I'm talking about, those people that you've got a negative perception of, and all that evidence. I challenge the perception I create of others. Okay? What I'd like you to do is turn to the person next to you and say, I challenge the perception that I create of others. Go on. And now I want you to do it loudly like this. I challenge the perception I create of others.
I challenge
Nice and loud. I challenge the perception I create of others. Being kind is important. I struggle with this. I struggle with it. Because I have perceptions of others. And I do gather allies and evidence sometimes, not very often. But I've had to release the evidence bag and the allies that I've created to free myself. Being kind is important. We have a perception of who that. It's like wearing glasses and you taking them off is important. So it's a stupid monkey. Turn to the person next to you and go, stupid monkey! Nice and loud. 1, 2, 3, go. Stupid monkey! It's a stupid monkey. Is it true? It's not reliable. Would you bet your life on it? No! Look, flush it down the toilet. Everyone put your hand over it. And turn to the person next to you and go, I flush it down the toilet. Say that to them. I flush it down the toilet. And you don't do it peaceful. You do it to be happy. Seeing people as though you have no past with them. See someone as though you have no past with them and recreate them. I have literally had to do that thousands of times. Because it's not about them. When you point your finger out, how many fingers are pointing back at me? If I point at somebody else, how many fingers are pointing back at me? 3. So when you say they're like this, they're like that, hey, what are you saying about yourself? Byron Katie, the mirror. Anybody been involved in Byron Katie, the mirror? Yeah. It takes courage, but have fun with it. Have fun with it. You're not going to get hit by a bolt on the head. You're not going to get hit by a car. Have fun with challenging these perceptions. We're going to make it easy. There's a mirror. And the mirror is about reflecting back. Who do you reflect back with? Let's make it simple. Okay? Surprisingly simple. Reflect back the perception that you have of other people. What are you saying about other people to yourself? Because if it's negative or something like that, it's something to work on, and then reflect back what you're saying to yourself. Your internal conversation. I'm going to give a 5-second gap, and I want you to think about what you're actually. I want you to think about your internal dialogue. A 5-second gap. Everyone be quiet. 5-second gap, and we'll work out what you're saying to yourself. Okay, ready, set, go. 5-second gap. What have you been saying to yourself? You might have been saying, that's been more than 5 seconds. See, that's the internal conversation. That's the monkey. Being able to reflect back what you're saying to yourself is self-awareness. It's mindfulness. That's what we've been mucking around with today. How do we stop the monkey? Because I'll tell you what, some people can do it. Some people can stop this monkey from talking, because the monkey takes you into the future and the past. The monkey conversation is always in the future. It's always in the past. It's never about this moment. But how do we stay in this moment? How do we get in the moment? The way we do that, and some people do this, they do it through sport. Being mindful and being present. Being mindful and being present. Some people can play golf. They can hit a little white ball. And they love playing golf because they quieten the monkey and they focus on the wind and they focus on this little ball and they're not focusing on the future, and the stupid monkey's quiet and they're just in a meditative state. Surfing. Some people like different sports where they can quiet the monkey down. What's the best way of quietening the monkey? It's meditation. Doing what we did at the start. You know, you can download an app, cost you $1.50, and it will do guided meditation. I did it last night, some guided meditation. Meditating allows you to be in this moment. And I'd like to talk about the Pink Ladies. The Pink Ladies is a breast cancer support group, and they gather money. They gather money. That's what they do. They gather money for breast cancer research, and they get lots and lots of ladies together, and it's called the Pink Ladies. And I was watching Australian Story, and they were interviewing a lady, and the lady said that having breast cancer was the best thing that ever happened to her, because it allowed her to appreciate the moment that she's in. And she said that she'd never felt wind before, and she felt wind for the first time in her face. She'd never seen a flower, and she saw a flower for the first time in her life. And then they went to another lady who said the same, and then they went to another lady who looked grey, and she said that she had months to live and the chemo hasn't worked. She had 2 bouts, it hasn't worked, and she had a tear coming down her eye, literally a tear coming down her eye. She looked into the camera and she said that having breast cancer was the best thing that has ever happened to her in her life, because it enabled her to enjoy the moment that she's in. Now, has anybody heard of Eckhart Tolle? Eckhart Tolle, the New Earth, Power of Now, he says, die before you die. Because if you don't get into this, you'll probably experience it. You'll experience it when you've got weeks to live. Because when people are on their deathbed and they roll out their wheelchair into the courtyard and they feel the sun, they go, oh my God, what just happened now? The sun. And then they see a tree that moves and the wind comes through and they wait for it to hit and boom, it hits them. And they feel wind for the first time. And they listen to birds and they hear the music. He says, die before you die. And that's what he means. You don't have to have cancer. Get into meditation. It'll quieten the monkey and it'll freak you out. It's the most amazing, powerful thing that you could ever do. This is the best I've got, guys. This is the best I've got. Meditate. It's an incredible, incredible experience to quieten the monkey in the best way of doing it. The past is history. The future is a mystery, and now is a gift. That's why it's called the present. But it's not a gift you give yourself. It's the gift you give other people around you. Because when you're in a meditative state, when you're in a peaceful state, when you're really calm and present, you exude a different energy. You exude a different energy. There are microscopic instruments now that can test your energy. Some people are like this, and their monkeys go. The Dalai Lama's like this, right? He's got a calm energy. When you are present, it affects the people around you. It affects your children. It affects your friends. It affects everyone when you're present. So keep in the conversation, guys. All I want you to do is just not discard this. Because some people go from a place, oh, that didn't work, that's not true. I'm just saying, don't agree or disagree. Keep it in the conversation tonight. Keep it in the conversation tomorrow. You'll be surprised. I've spoken to people weeks after the Perceptionalist, and they've said to me, wow, I had a chat to so-and-so about it, and it really made an impact. So I want you to keep this match flame. The window, for some of you, might be open a bit. Some of you might have already opened the window. Okay, let's ram it open. Let's poke our head through and have a look. Because I want this to turn into a raging inferno. I really do, because it will affect your life. And for me, making a positive difference in the lives of others is absolutely great fun. I love it. What are the takeaways? We're going to have some takeaways, then we're going to do some meditation, and we're going to finish. I've got some sheets of paper here with a bit of a summary of this stuff. And I've got my phone number if you want to talk to me about it. So what are your takeaways? Well, you can bring a friend for free, by the way. And if you want to come back, you can come back for free. Okay? So if you enjoyed this, you can bring a friend or even come back for free. Okay, so we spoke about investing in your most valuable asset, and that's what we've been doing today. We also spoke about stepping out of your comfort zone and how you get so much more space and freedom in your life when you do. And when you step out of your comfort zone, it feels uncomfortable. And often people want to step back, like reflective listening. Reflective listening can feel uncomfortable when you first start reflective listening. It feels uncomfortable. You've got two choices. You can step back or stay here. If you stay here, the uncomfortable will start to feel more comfortable, and then you can step out again and again. And again, you look back and see the journey that you've had, the adventure you've been on, the person that you've become. We talked about water pistol responses, roadblocks to communication, creating a negative perception. We also spoke about a positive perception and mirroring back other people's conversations. Sounds like you had a really relaxing time with the kids at the parents' place and the open fire and the river going past. People love that. And it's the gift of understanding that you give them. We also spoke about the monkey and how stupid it is. And it's not reliable, it's that chatter. And quieten the monkey is through the pink ladies. It's through the pink ladies. That's how to quieten the monkey noise. So what I'd like you to do now is I would like you just to take a really deep breath for me. Really deep breath. Really deep breath. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do some meditation. You'll hear some music in the background. When you hear the music in the background, I'd just like you to start tapping your foot. Okay, when you tap your foot, what we'll do then is we're going to step out of our comfort zone. We're going to stand up and do a bit of boogieing. Okay, just a little bit of boogieing. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is take a really deep breath, please. Hold at the top and breathe out. Now I want you to be quiet, please, the little kids. Okay, quiet. Okay, and another deep breath. Close your eyes for me and breathe out. I want you to feel gravity on your feet, coming up through your legs. You can feel gravity on your buttocks, going across the chair. You can feel it on the back. And take another deep breath, and as you breathe out, I'd like you to say relax. Relax. Okay, you can hear the noises in the background. You might hear a fan going from the projector. You might hear some traffic going past. Maybe at the top of 5 steps as you walk down and you find yourself becoming more and more relaxed. Going to step number 5, going to 4, 3, even more relaxed, 2, and 1. Stand on the grass, sit down on the grass.
In a moment or two, we'll have some music. Just focus on your breathing for me. Tap your foot. And stand up for me. Give yourself a warm round. And look at the other person next to you, give them a dance. Watch that scene, sing the dancing queen. Come on, you know the words. Lights are low, looking out for a place to go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you both participating. Thank you. Thanks very much, guys. And when you go outside, you'll see the refraction of light. It's a beautiful street. So enjoy being present. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
We're going to play 2 seconds.